Welcome back in. This weekend marks 1 year since the Dobbs decision that overturned the right to choose to have an abortion, and it sent the issue back to the states. And back to the states it went, with several state legislatures enacting bans restricting abortion as early as 6 weeks, and litigation challenging those laws exploding across the country since the Supreme Court's landmark decision. Plus, the issue of abortion isn't totally out of the Supreme Court's hands, despite the majority in Dobbs essentially washing their hands of the issue. Now, let's go more in depth on this with Professor Jamie Abrams at American University's Washington College of Law. Professor, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So I want our audience to take a look here at the Kaiser Family Foundation's map that's kind of tracking the litigation that's happened since Dobbs. If we can pull it up and take a look, there are a number of states, more than a dozen, that have litigation that are ongoing right now. All the orange and yellow states that you can see on your TV, there's litigation going on right now. In the orange states, the bans are still in place. In the yellow states, the bans are put on pause while the litigation continues. In the red and blue states, litigation happened, but it's already been dealt with. And this is a lot of states across the country. Obviously, it sent the issue back. But what are we seeing with these state-by-state bans and all of this litigation that has exploded?
Yeah, I think particularly for the states reflected in the yellow and orange there, chaos and confusion are the key terms that govern obstetric care. And that's deeply problematic, not just in the hypothetical, but on the ground for pregnant people and their caregivers who may face obstetric complications and have to make life or death decisions regarding the pregnant person. This is a very, very vulnerable environment for medical providers to be working in. This uncertainty yields a very conservative approach to treating pregnant people that can be life-threatening in some cases.
Now, of course, when the court makes a big decision like this, it's not like it all gets settled at the snap of a finger, especially when they overturn nearly 50 years of precedent. These things take time. The states will take time to adjust. And as you said, even in our hospitals and doctors' offices, that all takes time. Do you think that this is going to be unsettled for a year or two or three, and then we'll get into a new normal? Or do you think that this is going to actually continue to be a battle for the coming years?
I think it will continue to be a battle at the state level, particularly for some time. Remember, many of our state Supreme Court justices are actually elected. So while we can envision a similar political composition of the U.S. Supreme Court for some time to come, state courts are much more in play for political variability, as are state legislative chambers. And so voters are paying attention. We saw that with the referenda as well. And voters are watching very carefully to see what the reproductive rights politics are of their state officials. And so we can see political maps change much more rapidly at the state level.
Dobbs really just dealt with the right to choose to have an abortion, overturned Roe v. Wade. There are still probably 15 questions I could think of that flow from that decision. One of them we're already seeing making its way up to the high court, which is about access to abortion via a pill or a combination of pills, mifepristone. The Supreme Court seemed to suggest this is not an issue for the courts. We're sending it back to the states. Really, the state legislatures are the ones that need to make the decision here. But I'm not convinced that they're done with the abortion issue altogether. What do you make of the next question that comes after Dobbs?
I think that's right. The court, less than a year after Dobbs in April, already had the mifepristone question land on its docket. It punted it back down to the lower courts, but it's coming back. And there are two sort of dueling opinions in the federal circuits. There's an opinion out of Washington suggesting that mifepristone is too heavily regulated and should be available more expansively, and an opinion out of the Fifth Circuit in Texas suggesting that it's not regulated enough. In fact, it shouldn't be on the market. And those are two fundamentally incongruent opinions. We ordinarily have one singular federal framework governing the licensure of pharmaceuticals. And so the court will have to consider this issue, and it's a real important structure of government question for the court to resolve.
One of many that I suspect will be winding their way through the lower courts, making their way back up to the Supreme Court, despite their best efforts to get this issue off their plate for now. Something we'll keep an eye on here at In the Courts. Professor Abrams, we'd love to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insight.
Thank you.